Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Unbettable. I'm the biker, aka Mondo, here with Salsa, Mr. Holmes, stand up and show, attaboy. And we
Yeah.
got the trucker, the man who gives less effort to his costume than he does to the social game, Mr. Gary Gowdy, GG3,
Smoking hot and packing heat.
attaboy. Yeah, it's the Halloween special episode. Figure we might as well dress up. Halloween's tomorrow or today when you're watching this. So might as well give you a little something. On today's episode, we're gonna do our triple threat takeaways, also known as the terrifying takeaways today. We got college football recap headed up by Mr. Holmes. We have the NFL recap, which we'll walk through. We get to spin the punishment wheel today. So we'll be
Woo.
debuting that for the worst better of the weekend. And to wrap all that up, guess what, motherfuckers? It's the sports equinox today. All
Yeah.
sports on at one goddamn time. That is right, one time. Only time this year it'll happen. So we'll wrap it up with a little sports equinox betting, maybe a couple parlays to drop. But yeah, let's just get into it.
Yeah, dude.
So this weekend, as we know, was pretty crazy. Holmes, do you want to kick it off with your first takeaway?
Yeah, man, sure. I'll start it off in college football. You know me, I like to do three different sports in our takeaway. So we'll start off with CFB first. What a weekend for ranked teams going down around the sport.
Yeah.
If you heard me on the pod on Friday, I told you this was going to be a hard week in college football. There was going to be a lot of unpredictable shit. A lot of unpredictable shit happened. Kansas with an outright win at home against number 6 ranked Oklahoma, 38-33. You had Oregon absolutely stomping Utah in Utah, 35-6. What a game there. And then some late upsets. North Carolina drops their second game in a row. And to Georgia Tech, ooh, nah, you're definitely out of the playoff picture at this point. And then Oregon State, man, Arizona's been a sneaky Pac-12 team this year, and they go down 27-24 in the very, very late window. So, wow, what a weekend for some ranked teams to get some reality checks this weekend. Really, really crazy week in college football.
Yeah. Not all at once, Gare. Come on now. We do
Well,
this every
no,
Monday.
I was mustering up my faith to say this because I feel like we might get some backlash for it. But I think the 49ers might be fraudulent.
I think they
Um,
are.
Watching them this Sunday, it was kind of disappointing. Um, I don't know, man. That's three straight losses in a row. I mean, you can say mid teams, but overall, just not the best teams in the league. But one thing that was good about that game is seeing the Bengals play like how the Bengals should be playing, which I think is one thing we learned from that game, that Joe Burrow is back in action and he's ready to play.
Oh, yeah.
But the Niners, man, y'all got to tighten the fuck up or else it's about to get
Yeah.
real messy.
Yeah, my first takeaway, I'm gonna take it out of my comfort zone. I'm gonna go to soccer real quick. Biggest
Wow.
award in soccer was handed out today. Goes to America's favorite child, Mr. Lionel Messi. He has won it for the 8th time. Congratulations to him. That's one hell of an accomplishment. He truly is the GOAT. And he plays for my team that I've loved for many, many years, Inter Miami. So shout out to him. Big win for the squad. Hopefully we'll see him come back soon from injury. But yeah, first takeaway, definitely out of my comfort zone. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Holmes?
Yeah, dude. Second one I wanted to touch on. Somebody may have this, so I might be stealing somebody's, and I apologize if I do. But Will Levis, how about that performance? And let's just first kick this off with saying, us three, we are Florida guys. All right. We did not like Will Levis. We did not like when Will Levis beat us. It was very, very frustrating. We are not the biggest Will Levis fans. To be honest, it was a little, I think, satisfying to see him go day 2 of the draft and not go first round like everybody in the world said he was going to. but props to him for showing out on Sunday. He had a fantastic game, and so did D-Hop. He was connecting with him on some of the nicest touchdown throws I've seen from a rookie in a long time. So shout out to Will Levis getting his Tennessee Titans a big win against the Falcons. And from what it sounds like, he is going to get the start again this week. So if he looks half as good as he did this past week, I think the Titans have them a new future quarterback.
I like it. Care?
Gary's gut takeaways. Are they a real thing? And should you believe in them? And the answer, I think, is yes. I just want to point out the fact that last week on the pod, I said the Panthers were going to get their first W this week. It happened. Was it messy? Yes, but it did happen. And then another Gary gut take. That didn't even sound right. Whatever. I ended up taking Broncos money line at the start of the Niners game, or not the Niners game, the Chiefs game, because I heard Patrick Mahomes was having the flu. My roommate's like, "Oh, he's gonna have a flu game. It's gonna be amazing," and I'm like, "Nah, it's not gonna happen." I cashed the fuck out on the Broncos, put 10 in there, and I won. What was it? $47. Not a bad take. So, call it what you want, call it a myth. I call it a legend. Gary gut takeaways. Or Gary, I don't even remember what I called it. If I say some shit about my gut, you should take it. That's all I gotta say.
Funny you say that, Gare. And we'll definitely tackle it later in this episode. So just hold that thought.
Okay.
My takeaway number 2. It was the weekend of quarterback injuries, man. Holy shit. Every QB I was watching went down. Pickett, obviously the big one, and Kirk Cousins. You got Tyrod Taylor going down. You got all these QB. I think there were like 5 or 6 total QBs that went out this weekend. I don't know what's going on, but this weekend was like an omen. If you played the quarterback position, you were guaranteed to get hurt. It was just absolutely wild to watch. It definitely messed up a lot of fantasy performances, but it was a wild weekend for that. Holmes, number 3.
Number 3, I will go to the ice. And as a Tampa Bay homer, Gary, you know better than anybody, I'm a massive Lightning fan. And right now is the time to feel very good about the goaltending performance of Jonas Johansson. This guy is stepping in for Andrei Vasilevsky, Vezina trophy-winning goaltender, fantastic goaltender for the Tampa Bay Lightning. But he's out until December, had surgery right before the season. And this is the guy that is coming to step in and take his place until the time being. I thought we were in fucking trouble, dude. I thought our goaltending was going to be poop. Our defense is a little bit improved. And I will say from last year, making the jump from very poor defensive team to making a lot of adjustments on that side of the ice. Hats off to the Lightning. But Jonas Johansson having 2 shutouts in his past 2 games, one against the fantastically offensive-minded Hurricanes, great team. And then, worst team in the league, San Jose Sharks, will take a shutout there as well. But I love the play of Jonas Johansson right now. I will be having a bet on this game later tonight, so make sure you're tuned in for the whole pod because we will have NHL and some NBA picks by the end of this episode.
Gare?
Yeah, my final takeaway for the week is the World Series is about to be electric. I know it sounds like pretty broad, but after watching the first 2 games, I can definitely see the series going to a 7-game series. It's just a battle out there. And what was kind of funny is game 1, I fell asleep because I had to go home that week, and I woke up, and literally 2 minutes after I woke up, I watched Adolis just nuke it and seal the deal with a walk-off. And I was like, wow, I can go back to bed now. And that's what I did. So, yeah, I think this series is going to be great. I think you guys should definitely watch it. I remember I was saying that, it's not going to be a very hyped up series, but I'm definitely eating my words on that one now because I see how competitive it is. So yeah, excited for the World Series.
Very nice. I agree, man. World Series is gonna be wild. People were shitting on it, but hey, you guys don't realize these kids are young and hungry. They're ready to go.
Yeah.
So they're excited to get their chance and they're going to capitalize.
Mm-hmm.
But my final takeaway, it's definitely more personal to me. I'm sure a lot of people can relate. I am sick and tired of placing bets and then my fantasy teams play like shit and then my fantasy teams play well and then my bets end up being shit and I can never enjoy a weekend because I'm always unhappy to some degree and it bothers the hell out of me and I'm very sad and it's just kind of a rant more than it is a takeaway, but I'm sick of it. I don't know what to do. My head hurts from being angry. I'm in a bad place.
Yeah.
So just not a good time. It's either one or the other. I would just like it to be both. Maybe one day it will be both, but we are 8 weeks in and I am miserable. So that is my third and final takeaway. I am fucking miserable.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Holmes, let's kick it your way. Little college football recap. Recap our bets this weekend. Some of the top 25 matchups. Don't hesitate to throw it our way. You know how it goes. What you got for us?
All right, man. Well, we'll jump right into it. Again, like I said earlier, and if you're listening on the Friday pod, this was going to be a tough Saturday. There were some stinky lines out there, some ones that were going to be really, really tough to bet on in terms of the biggest matchups this weekend. But I ended up coming away from the weekend 4-4, so it feels good on the official plays from the pod. Tennessee -3.5. That was a nice win. I think that Tennessee should have been favored by a little bit more there, getting the win by 6 in Kentucky. I think you guys are on the same side as me. I think Kentucky is a very fraudulent team. I think Tennessee has been a little bit up and down, but I think they've had the firepower, at least defensively, to help their offense out a little bit. Let them do what they need to do, score their points, and shut down the opposing offense. So I like Tennessee 3.5 there. That was nice to get a win there. Ole Miss -13.5 first half spread. That was probably one of the easiest ones of the weekend. That was a no doubter. Going up hard on Vandy. Ole Miss is just a very nice first quarter and first half team overall. Started out very, very hot at home. So that'll be a team that we could look to ride down the stretch as well. Wisconsin +15. We knew it was going to be a low scoring game. Wisconsin was able to keep it close. I did not think that they were going to get an outright win in this situation, but that spread was a little too big for me. Wisconsin's defense has been great so far this season, and Ohio State's offense is nowhere near what it has been in past years. Kyle McCord is not Justin Fields. He is not CJ Stroud. He is a lot worse. So that offense is nowhere near where it used to be. Wisconsin was a great play there. And then John Rice Plumlee over 1.5 pass touchdowns. He got 3 on the day. This came in pretty nicely. UCF did not end up getting a win against West Virginia, but I mean, this was a game where he had to play well, win or lose. So thankful that he was able to get those 3 touchdowns there. That looked good for the slate. But as far as the losses, man, we are not betting on USC for the rest of this season. I am so over this team. -6.5 first half should have been incredibly light against a weak California team, and they let California run up the score on them. They were very lucky to come away from that game with a 1-point win. If California kicks the extra point instead of going for 2 at the end of that game, I think there's a strong chance California pulls an upset in overtime. So USC barely escapes, not even close to that first half bet. That one was out the window. Texas A&M -14. This was tough, just losing by 1 point right here. We were on the right side of things. It was just a tough number for us to get with 14 and winning by 13. Would have been a nice push potential to have the 13 number there, but win some, you lose some. That's all right. UCLA -17. This one kind of screwed us because Colorado getting a late touchdown kind of backdoor covered this one for Colorado. I thought UCLA was the better team all the way through, and they definitely proved that. But that 17 number, I guess, was just a little too big, and they couldn't hang on to cash that for us. And then you guys will know more than anybody, Florida +14.5. We were not even close. Not even close on this one. This seemed like it was out the window by the first half. Georgia absolutely dominated us on every side of the ball. It was very painful to watch this game, actually, thinking that we had somewhat of a decent shot to at least keep it close in this game, and we did not even do that. So that was a disappointing spread to not even come close on, but you guys can definitely take it away and touch on that game even more if you want.
Yeah. I went to a Gator bar. It was all cheering and shit when we went up 7-0. Not many teams can say they had a lead against Georgia. We did. That's a pretty cool accomplishment.
At least.
But everything after that was miserable. You know, every time UF scores, they get jello shots. Everyone was pretty much sober by the end of the game. It was just not a good time.
Damn.
That was a tough bet, especially for me to lose. I know we all kind of bet on it. But just to go down my list, first of all, I want to reiterate anytime I put in anytime TD, I'm heavying up my units on that bet. That's where I'm always more confident because I feel like I can break even better with anytime touchdowns. So I heavied up Keon Coleman. Obviously, that's going to hit. He's an absolutely electric receiver. Cash that out like within the first 20 minutes of football on Saturday. So I thought I was poised for a pretty good day. This is one of those scenarios where my fantasy teams did really well this weekend. I want that on the record, just so we know. Oklahoma -6.5. They might as well have been +6.5, and they still would have probably lost. That was miserable. Utah +7.5. I could add Utah plus fucking 25. It wouldn't have mattered. Shit on. Oregon State money line. I mean, we saw how that went. Oregon State just fell apart. Wasn't really ideal for anybody, especially my bank account. And then the Tennessee money line. That was one I just felt confident in. Tennessee is way better than Kentucky. I just hate Kentucky so much more. So I kind of locked that in. Had a really shitty weekend of college football gambling. It's obviously not my strong suit, but hey, there's one takeaway. If I put out an anytime touchdown, you should bet that shit with me. I am the guru. So
Yes,
that's
sir.
kind of where we stand.
Yes, sir.
Gary, let's throw it over to you now. What are your college football recaps looking like?
So this weekend I did a few live bets. And my first live bet that I want to touch on is Florida, Georgia. After the 7-0, where I was like, holy shit, we look so good right now. I'm gonna throw it on Florida money line. And yeah, I wanted to unalive myself by the end of the half. But one live bet that I did place that hit that was actually kind of surprising was Kansas money line over Oklahoma. I bet it at the half, got some good money out of it. That was a great game to watch, super exciting. Oklahoma, man, I feel like Oklahoma the past couple of weeks has been cutting it close with some of their games. And of course this week, was just not their week, number 6. I wonder where they're going to be placed at now. Curious. But next week in college football, there are some exciting games that I am ready to bet on. One in particular is going to be LSU Alabama. I'm excited for that one. But overall, not too great of a record for this weekend.
Yeah, it was absolutely fucking miserable out there for the college football picks. None of us really did that well. Holmes did the best. Obviously, he's the college football mind of the show. So yeah, it's just been a rough one out there. We prefaced this whole weekend by saying this slate is just brutal. Just the matchups were difficult. We were trying our best to predict.
Yep.
It didn't go well. It happens, it happens that way.
It's a tough one.
But let's go ahead. We'll do a full NFL recap. We already hit on Bucks Bills. I don't think you guys want to talk about that much anymore.
Nah.
Let's talk about something I know I will enjoy. Patriots at Dolphins. Dolphins take it 31-17. Ladies and gentlemen, I had 2 anytime touchdowns. Wouldn't you know it? They always cash. What can I say? Raheem, Tyreek, the dream. We do it. Anytime touchdowns are a lock for this team. Anytime I see Tua just launch a ball, I just know it's a touchdown. I know Tyreek burned a man. Like, you don't even see him on the screen. That's how fast he is. And it's just a guarantee every single time. Jalen Waddle finally came back. It was kind of nice to see. He had a real breakout game, finally eclipsed 100 yards. And then Tua, I mean, just MVP this season. Absolutely elite QB play. And Jalen Ramsey's back, and he got a pick. And I called it, actually. I told Julie he was going to throw a pick. Sure enough, Jalen comes from the rafters all the way overhead. I'm like, oh, there we go. Lock it in. But yeah, Dolphins just fucking crushed the Patriots. It was so nice to watch. Holmes, what do you got from this game?
Yeah, man. Dolphins -8. I was on it from the beginning. This was just a no-brainer for me. I have Tua again, like I said, he has Bill Belichick's number. They play very well against the Patriots. I did not see that defense slowing them down whatsoever. Not too much for me, man. That offense just continues to look good. Who is going to stop them when they're all healthy and cooking like they are? So, Dolphins -8, nice and easy.
Gear.
Yeah, I mean, only thing that really got me going this weekend, like I said earlier, was the Panthers game. I was excited that I put that out into the universe, and it cashed. And then the other one that we were kind of contested on last week was Jets Giants. I ended up taking Jets money line. That was a fucking ugly game. It was horrible. Both teams look horrible. But Jets ended up pulling it out. And then the Vikings. I've never seen Sean with that emotion on his face before until Kirko gets hit with the curse of fucking Aaron Rodgers, tears his Achilles. I was talking to Sean, I was like, what do you think? And he's like, well, we're fucked. And that's all I had to say about it. Yeah, that's how NFL Sunday went down in this house.
Very nice. Panthers, Texans. Panthers take it 15-13. A little Gary gut check here. He called this one. I'll give it to him. He didn't bet on it though. So how much can you trust it? But Panthers caught the dub, 1-6. Shout out to them. First Bryce Young win. Thielen, he hit his reception target. Other than that, it was kind of a shitty game. Just really a letdown by the Texans. They just fell apart. But yeah, that's all I really got. Gary, what's your takeaway from this game?
I mean, there's not much to say about it. I said what I said, and it happened. That's all I gotta say about it.
Holmes?
Shoot, bro. I mean, I did not expect this whatsoever. Good for the Panthers getting their first win. Gary called this one, man. You got to give him the credit on this. We were all over the Texans. I thought CJ Stroud was gonna have a nice day against a poor defense, and good for Bryce Young for hanging in there, having a nice clean game. I know I bet on him to throw a pick, and he did not. So he definitely kept it clean against a pretty decent Texans defense. But Adam Thielen continues to be dominant, man. Over 67.5 receiving yards. I think you were on his reception prop, Mondo. He was a monster again, man. He is a real fantasy like grinder this year, man. Like if you have him on your team, you picked him so late, and now he's probably starting in your flex and contributing for you easily every week. So good on Adam Thielen, Bryce Young, and the Panthers getting their first win. That was not something I saw coming.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting game. It was one of those games where you didn't really want to watch it, but it was kind of cool to watch because both teams just looked terrible. So it was just who was going to be worse. But on to one of kind of like the what the hell did I just say? On to one of the biggest surprises, I guess, kind of the blowout. Cowboys smoked the Rams 43-20. CeeDee Lamb, holy shit. 12 receptions, 158 yards, 2 tutties. That man had himself a career game, which is amazing because people were thinking that he was just an absolute bust this year, waste of a pick. It's good to see him come back. I hate watching the Cowboys win, but they just dominated top to bottom. I wish Pollard balled out a little more, but that's besides the point. Holmes, what's your takeaway from this game?
This was a dominant win. A dominant win. I mean, the Cowboys went out there, literally put it on the Rams early. I mean, there's no way the Rams were coming back into this whatsoever. Cowboys defense was huge. Having an early pick six, then you're getting the safety later in the game. I mean, they were all over Matt Stafford and Rams in that game. It's that team just weirds me out, man. Like some weeks they look really, really good, like are on top of the world, easy Super Bowl contenders, and then some weeks, against the Cardinals, they lay an egg, they look like shit, and we're like, why do we ever put any faith in this team? Because they let us down all the time.
Mhm.
So they've been very wishy-washy for me this season. This was just another one of those dominant wins that they put on the scoreboard. But we'll see what happens when it really comes down to games that matter for this team.
Gare?
Yeah, as much as I dislike the Dallas Cowboys, I think it was a great game for them. I think it was a great way to prove that they're not just a defensive team, that they do have some offense as well. Unfortunately, since CD is just so mid, typically, I had him on my bench this week. If I didn't, I would have won my game. But it is what it is. We keep it pushing. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. But yeah, I mean, good on Dak, bro. Throws 4 tutties. That's exciting. Good for him because we all know how mid Dak Prescott is. Do I think he's Super Bowl, wow, Super Bowl quarterback material? No, but I do think this was a good win for him.
Yeah. Vikings, Packers. There's only one real storyline out of this game. Kirk Cousins tears his Achilles. Just an absolute blow to the team. He was having such a good year so far, arguably on the cusp of an MVP season. So hope he gets better soon. Maybe adopts the Aaron Rodgers, comeback treatment, but just an absolute heartbreaker for a team that was on the come up. Vikings still won 24-10, but it really doesn't matter. They lost the game in every other aspect. So, Holmes.
Yeah, Vikings money line I think was a nice easy bet here. I definitely think we all agree this game should not have been a pick 'em. The Packers just don't look good on offense, man. They have a lot of receivers dropping balls. Jordan Love just, there's just something about him. I don't know if he has that it factor yet. Maybe there's been too few games of him starting for me to actually have a great opinion on him. But yeah, man, the big storyline is Kirk going out. That offense is going to dramatically change now. That season is probably going to dramatically change for the Minnesota Vikings. They used to be a very pass heavy team. You could definitely see that changing now with no more Kirko, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the backup situation. I heard rumblings today that Jameis Winston might be of trade talks and trying to get traded before the deadline on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. If he gets traded, I think that's a great trade for the Minnesota Vikings. Probably best case scenario for them at this point, because if they're going to have to run with their rookie QB, I don't even know that guy's name, but he came in for a few plays and did not look good.
Doesn't matter. We don't.
Yeah, it does not matter.
Name.
They're running with him, or I think Nick Mullins could be coming back from injury soon. No, I definitely think if they have the opportunity to get Jameis, definitely do that. It's possible he could come in and save the season.
Yeah, Gare.
Yeah, that's tough, bro. Jetta, now Kirko. I don't really know where the Vikings are going to go after this. The only really good thing to have going for them is these next 4 to 5 weeks are pretty light work for a decent team in the NFL. So I don't think that, I mean, obviously without having Kirk, they're going to have some struggles, but I don't think it's as bad as it could be, if that makes any sense. But, good luck to them. Yeah, that's tough.
Attaboy, Gare. Gentlemen, is it 2018 again? Are we back in D-Hop prime era?
Woo-wee.
That man balled the fuck out yesterday. 4 receptions, 128 yards, 3 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, 101 yards on the ground. I dead ass felt like I was going back in time. That game was awesome to watch. We called that a poop bowl earlier this week. It was a shootout. It was so much fun to watch. Titans took the Falcons down 28-23. Will Levis had himself a game. That was really like the big storyline people have, but shout out to D Hop, man. That man's back. He's better than ever. I'm glad he's getting back to where he used to be. It was frustrating watching him be frustrated the past couple years. So shout out to that man. Just unreal game. Gary?
Yeah. One thing that I was thinking about is how last week, Mondo, when we did the segment, that guy had the question about whether or not to throw in D Hop or not. We did say D Hop. So, you're welcome, bud.
Yeah, hope you won your week.
Yeah, but exciting game. The only thing is it's just not so exciting teams, in my opinion. But yeah, good for D Hop for balling out. It was good to see him finally get back into his rhythm.
Holmes?
Yeah, not much for me, man. Like I said earlier, Will Levis balled out, man. Good for him, having a crazy good game. D Hop gets in on all that action. I mean, Titans actually looked like they were pretty functional under Will Levis, and we haven't seen that almost all year. I mean, Tannehill's had 2 passing touchdowns on the year, and Will Levis doubled that in the game yesterday. So good shit on the Titans.
So, question: if we don't see Jameis going to the Vikings, is Tannehill the next best option for them? Is that who it, or is it Jimmy G, or will we even see Derek Carr? Like, I don't know what, because I feel like Will Levis is a starter now for the foreseeable future.
Yeah,
So
I don't know.
I don't really know. They have what, 3 QBs on the roster that could easily start in the NFL. So I don't know, but if Tannehill goes, I feel like that's worst case scenario. I feel like Jameis is more of the Kirk Cousins build, just airing it out. But we'll see what happens. I just want to bring that up.
Yeah, I think Tannehill's just a less competent Kirk Cousins. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
he'll complete some passes down the field. He'll try and push the offense, but I don't know. I think Kirk's accuracy has been pretty nice so far this year, and I don't really rock with Tannehill like that. But maybe they make a move for him.
Yeah. Tannehill's wife is a smoke though. Just wanted that on the record. Saints at Colts. Saints win 38-27. Really not a surprise here. Raheem Shaheed, though, he balled out 3 receptions, 153 yards, 1 tutty. Kind of like that Randy Moss stat line from that Thanksgiving game a long time ago. Derek Carr looked great, so we definitely think Jameis Winston's definitely a trade candidate. He deserves to be a starter. I miss seeing Jabo, but nothing really shocking here. I know Holmes and I both bet Kamara's receptions. That easily hit, as it should. But Holmes, I guess I'll pass it to you. What do you have?
Yeah, dude, I wish I could say that easily hit. I think he landed at 4 receptions, and I think you had over 3.5, so you got a good number there. Dude, I got screwed. I got 4.5, so I lost that bet by the hook. That kind of sucks. I mean, he only got targeted 5 times. It was definitely not as much as it has been in recent games. But Rashid Shaheed down the field, 3 receptions for 153 yards and a tutty. Like, what a day! Are you kidding me? On his only 3 targets of the day. So, that guy could definitely be a very good fixture in that offense moving forward because he is just a sneaky downfield threat. And if correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is like another good performance adding on to what he's been doing. He's kind of breaking out a little bit this year for the Saints.
Yeah, no, he's looking good. He's definitely becoming a strong number 2 target, I feel. I think Michael Thomas is starting to fall down the ranks a little bit.
True.
He's definitely their deep threat, though. I mean, you got Olave cutting across the middle, but Shaheed, man, he's just electric in the couple games I've watched him. Gary?
Yeah, not too much on this one. But I think people need to start putting like more respect on Kamara's name for real. I was looking at a stat line today, and that man is neck and neck with, the almighty Christian McCaffrey when it comes to stat lines right now. Obviously the Saints are, not using him as well as they could. But I think that he's definitely somebody that you should watch out for. He's averaging about 4 to 5 yards a carry right now, which really isn't bad for a running back in this state in the NFL. So yeah, I would keep a lookout for him.
On to the actual poop bowl of the weekend. Jets at Giants, the midlife matchup. I mean, just absolutely battle of the mid teams. It was terrible. Jets just kind of snuck it out in OT. No one really enjoyed watching this game. It was terrible. Not really much to say. I don't know if you guys really have any takeaways for this game, but I'm all ears
No,
if
I
you do.
I will not talk about this game. This game was ass.
Gary.
I mean, honestly, kind of disappointing performance for the Jets, I think. The last few weeks they've been kind of rolling. And this is a game that should have been a steamroller for them, some light work. And of course, it's a rivalry, whatever you want to call it, but like the Giants fucking suck. So like, when you're taking it to OT with arguably one of the worst teams in the NFL and then barely like pulling it off, it's just kind of like what the fuck is going on? Um, but yeah, they got the Chargers next week. See how they do with that, but nothing else.
Yeah, just a terrible game all the way around. I think it was probably the lowest viewed game of the weekend. It was just horrible. On to a little bit more of an exciting game, not really that much. Jags at Steelers, what I thought could have been a Tomlin masterpiece, ended up just the Jags doubling their score 20-10. I don't feel like there were any real standouts from this game. It wasn't anything too crazy. It was just kind of like the Jags showed up, did their thing, and the Steelers did not. Is that fair to say? I feel like that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. Jags just looked good, man. They've looked good all season. They continue to pile up the wins. I expected a little bit more from the Steelers on the offensive side of the ball. I said last week on the pod that Deontay Johnson has kind of made this offense flow a little bit more, and that was only that 1 week that Deontay Johnson came back. So obviously, I spoke a little bit too soon on that. But no, man, Jags are rolling. They're a good team in the AFC, and they're gonna be a force to be reckoned with down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish our ETN could have performed like this one did. Had 24 carries for about 80 yards, which is really not bad in the grand scheme of things. Because this game was looking like it was going to be a great matchup, and it was for a while, until the Steelers threw that game-ending interception late in the fourth. So tough for them, but yeah, I mean the Jags are moving, bro. That's two good Florida teams this year. That's pretty much unheard of. So
Yeah. No, it's nice. It's nice to have I feel like Florida has been kind of, becoming that hot spot. College hoops, you got FAU, you got the Panthers, the Heat, I mean, you just have all these teams starting to have a come up.
the
But
Lightning.
not to leave you guys out. The Bucks, they kind of kicked it all off, so don't want to overlook
Right.
you. I know you're kind of in a rough time, but
Are we
you guys
good?
kicked it off with TB12 and co.
I want you to put the word out there that we back up.
Reserve. On to the most electric game of the early slate. I mean, by far the most fun one to watch. Eagles at Commanders. If you guys do not remember, I told you from the start this would be a battle. These two teams always play each other well. I mean, 38-31 Eagles. It was an absolute chaotic game. Obviously, you have AJ Brown doing his thing. Jalen Hurts, he had 4 tutties. But how about Sam Howell? 397 yards, 4 tutties, 1 costly interception. But, I want to put this question out there. I know the Commanders were seen as definitely heavy sellers coming up. Do they really need to sell that much? I feel like they have a good foundation that they could probably build off of.
I'll agree with you. I think they have a decent foundation. I think it's just all about getting acclimated to Eric Bieniemy. I think the first year in that offense, we know Eric Bieniemy knows how to call an offense. He knows how to be a good offensive coordinator. We've seen it for years with all the talent he's had on the Chiefs. And granted, this is not as much talent as he has ever had with the Kansas City Chiefs, but there's some pieces there, and they can definitely make some stuff happen. We've always said, the Commanders, like they play the Eagles close, man. Those games are always tight. They're always fun to watch. They're always all the way down to the wire. But Sam Howell got the ball to Terry McLaurin a lot. We capped off a nice 4-2 NFL Sunday with Terry McLaurin over 58 and a half receiving yards. He had a very nice day. He always seems to ball against the Eagles too. That's why I took him to ball out and go off against the Eagles. He notoriously has career games against that team, no matter how good they are in the secondary. But Eagles do come out with the win. I think the Commanders are just on the right track. It sucks that they have to lose so much, but they have pieces there to be able to build for the future, I think.
Yeah, Scary Terry in October, man. I mean, there's not a lot quite like it.
Yep.
Gare?
Yeah, not too much on this game. Sorry, I'm kind of out of it today. I had a Halloween party last night that's kind of beat my ass right now, but we'll fight through it.
It's
Um,
7:15 p.m., Gare.
oh yeah, it was bad. But Jalen Hurts, I saw on Twitter today, hurt his knee during this game. Obviously didn't seem to affect him too bad, putting up 4 touchdowns. I don't know. I feel like, the Eagles are a great team, 7-1. You cannot deny it. But I feel like they've been kind of skating by for all the hype that they have. I feel like they've been kind of cutting it close in some of these games, winning by a field goal or just a touchdown. I mean, with all the talent they have, all the hype they have, all the potential they have, you feel like this team would be blowing everybody out of the water, but it's just not the case. So, I'm curious to see how much longer they can keep it up without finally just like kicking the fucking bucket to one of these mid-ass teams. And I feel like it's coming up soon.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, as someone who watched his favorite team get waxed by the Eagles, I don't know how likely it is that they're going to fall apart, but it was definitely an interesting one this weekend. Browns Seahawks. I mean, fourth quarter, nice little tutty to win the game. Seahawks win 24-20. No one really shocked here. It was good to see Amari Cooper actually show up for a game. Geno Smith, I guess he was probably the best player of the game. 2 tutties, 2 INTs though, but it was just a gritty battle back and forth. The coolest part of it was probably Myles Garrett showing up in an absolutely electric costume, the Jeepers Creepers setup. But other than that, it was it was just one of those games, man. You weren't really interested in. It was just kind of there. Holmes?
Yeah, forgettable game for me. Just predictable in my eyes. I thought the Seahawks were going to come out with a win at home. PJ Walker comes down to earth a little bit. Not much else for me. Good for Tyler Lockett going off, having a nice game here. But yeah, other than that, Seahawks get a win, keep on moving.
Yeah. Gare?
Yeah, nothing. Another week without Deshaun Watson, so it's a good week. Fuck him.
Yeah, no, not really too many takeaways. It was just kind of a battle back and forth. Just is what it is.
Yeah, man.
The biggest shocker of the weekend was definitely this game. Chiefs get waxed by the Broncos 24-9. We said before that the Chiefs never play that well against the Broncos. Little did we know, the worst was yet to come. Russell Wilson's back, 3 tutties. The Mahomes Kelsey connection basically didn't exist. Sources have said that is because Taylor Swift was not in attendance. Ooh. So I don't know where we sit with that, but I do know if you have your wallets out and you do not see Taylor Swift there, I would not bet on the Kelsey over. So that's my big takeaway. Shout out to the Broncos, 3-5. I mean, you take down one of the best teams in the AFC for sure, but it just an abysmal game out of Patty Ice. Holmes?
Yeah, dude, I wish I knew that he had the flu coming into this game before I put any money down on this. I mean, I thought this was like an easy one to just include in a money line parlay. And how about the Broncos getting one of the most improbable wins of the year? I mean, they kind of played the Chiefs close on the Thursday night they played 2 weeks ago, and it's crazy that they're playing again so soon. But I don't know, man. I don't know what to. Just one of those games. I guess the Chiefs have to lose every season. They always have one of these weird clunkers mid-season. They're like, what the hell? Like, why are the Chiefs? Is the dynasty over? Like, is Pat Mahomes bad? No, the Chiefs are still good, but I guess this was just a tough spot for them. Broncos had their number this time around, and Broncos finally get another win because they are so ass.
Mm-hmm. Gare?
Patty Mahomes, bro. I feel sorry for you. Uh, Shout out Twitter though, for not allowing me to make a stupid decision this weekend. Um, when I saw Patty Mahomes had the flu, and then I heard that it's going to be snowing during this game, and you already know Denver's elevation is stupid fucking high. Like I was just like, there's no way this can be good, bro. Like I think about myself with the flu. I'm fucking done, out for the count. This man's gonna go out there and play an NFL game while it's snowing. Like that just sounds like AIDS. And it was for Patrick Mahomes, 2 interceptions. That's tough on the boy. So I guess feel better, but while you're sick in bed with that thing that you call your wife, you're gonna have to sit here and think about the Broncos. So feel bad for you.
Damn, Gare. Over to Ravens Cardinals, Battle of the Birds. Hit the noise, Gare.
I did it.
Did you hear it, Holmes? I didn't hear
I didn't
it.
hear it. I didn't hear it.
You gotta get closer.
Fuck off. You heard me both
No,
times.
I'm dead ass. I did not. No,
Why?
there's nothing coming through. I'm not
I
bullshit.
guess I'm just breaking the sound barrier.
Yeah. One more. Yeah, there we go. We kind of got one. Two big takeaways from this game. Obviously, Ravens won 31-24. First, Gus Edwards had himself a hell of a game. 80 yards, 3 tutties. Dude looked like an absolute machine running through everybody. The other, Trey McBride, young tight end coming in, racks up 10 receptions, 95 yards, and a touchdown. Definitely a hell of a breakout performance for the kid. But other than that, it kind of went how we expected it to go. I was a little bit worried about the Ravens potentially, losing this game at the fourth quarter. I mean, they got outscored 17-10. I was wondering what was going to happen, but it kind of went as expected. Holmes.
Yeah, not much for me here. Just you touched on it. Great Gus Edwards game. Great breakout performance for him. Hopefully he should be the RB1 going forward. I mean, that guy has a lot of talent. I think the Ravens need to use him as much as possible to help out with this run game. But yeah, man, predictable win here. Thought the Ravens were gonna get one over on the poor Cardinals. Interesting QB news. Is Kyler Murray gonna come back soon? We will find out very soon.
Gare.
Lamar Jackson, stay hot, kid. That's all I gotta say.
Boy, Gare. Bengals Niners, the absolute slugfest of the afternoon, or so we thought it would be, as the Bengals take them down 31-17. Brock Purdy looked like ass. Joe B, he's back. He's better than ever. Kittle balled, Mixon balled. I mean, Jamar Chase did his thing. It was literally what we expected, except, the wrong Victor. So just an absolute slugfest. Probably the best game of the afternoon slate, but it was all Bengals the whole game. I don't think that the Niners had the lead once, so just an absolute smoke of a game for them. Holmes?
Joe Burrow looks officially back. He was very comfortable against a really tough 49ers D. He was running the ball. He was slinging it. He looked good there in the pocket. So I am definitely on the Bengals train. I think they got their shitter games out of the way, as they always do in the beginning of the season. And now I think the train is on the tracks and it's about to get rolling. So watch out for the Bengals. As for the 49ers, dropping 3 straight does not feel good. And suddenly Brock Purdy,
Fraud alert.
he has fallen back to earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chugga, 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 chugga. I don't know what sound Mondo's making, but Holmes said it perfectly. Joe Burrow is back and better than ever. I'm glad I can finally talk to my good friend Jackson Bond in a positive light now, rather than bullying him. But yeah, I'm kind of glad to see San Francisco take a nosedive. I'm in a group chat where I get a lot of shit for being a Bucks fan by a guy who's a 49ers fan. You know who you are. I'm just happy for it, fuck them.
Very nice. Sunday night football, Bears Chargers literally went to a T the exact way we expected it to go. Chargers won 30-13. Herbert did his thing. Eckler came back with a vengeance. He was the leading receiver of the game. He's a running back, by the way, in case you did not know that. It like no Justin Fields doesn't like. There's just nothing. There's nothing to get that offense going. Bears might as well have not shown up. Shout out to them, still in line for the number 1 pick, but it went exactly as we thought it would, and there's not really another takeaway for that. So, Holmes?
Yep. Not much here for me. Justin Herbert had a nice game as expected against a poor Bears D. I'm sorry, Nicholas Lipinski, that you have to suffer through yet another loss.
Yeah.
But I think Justin Fields is going to be out again next week. So Bajan looks like he's going to get his 3rd consecutive start. We'll see what he can do next week, but tough primetime spot for him against a nice offensive team in the Chargers.
Garrett!
Yeah, I was watching this game last night at the best bar in Gainesville, the Grog House Bar and Grill.
God.
And the entire time, all I could think of is my poor friend, Nick Lipinski. Oh, how I miss his sweet presence every day. Every day I miss him. But, I pray for you every night.
Maybe
That
we'll get
one
him on
day.
a show.
Oh, we got to one day. I love that kid. I call him a kid. He's fucking older than me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, get well soon, Nick. I believe in you.
He's fine. He's just a Bears fan.
Yeah, they're poverty.
Yeah, I mean, that's the NFL recap. A lot of these games went how we expected. Obviously, there were a couple crazy ones, but there's not going to be much crazier than this ad read we're about to do. So we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, how we doing? It's your boy Mondo here today to tell you a little bit about Open Bar. That is right. The same thing I talked about last episode. Guess what? They're back again. And you might be wondering, Mondo, what the fuck is an open bar? I'll tell you right now. Open bar was a concept that my dad and I came up with when I was moving into the fraternity house my senior year of college. Basically, we didn't have room for a full bar, so what we do, we invented one that came down from the wall. And guess what? It looked incredible. Look at the picture right here. It's the easiest thing to get, saves you all kinds of room. Everyone loves it. Everyone uses it. You can put on dartboards, mirrors if you want to look good, whatever you want. We can build open desks that come down. So if you're a little study bird or you want to play video games, guess what? Open desk got you too. We got all kinds of products. All you have to do is reach out to cmondo at jmatinc.net, CMONDO at JMATTINC.net. Reach out today, customize your own bar. It will be sent out to you. It is worth the price. These things hold up long time. Telling you it is worth it. Peace. And we are back from that ad read. And as you see in front of us, we have a wheel. Now, it's not the typical wheel of bets. It's the wheel of punishments. And what we've come to realize is you guys like watching others suffer. That's the main thing behind the internet. People enjoy other people's misery. Hold on. No free ads. Get out of here, Mickey Mouse. Okay. So what the punishment wheel is if we do a weekend of betting like we typically do, can range from, college football, NFL, boxing, which we'll get into, any sport we want to bet, it'll all be pulled together. We'll compile the data. Holmes and I have compiled the data, and we will spin the wheel for the guy that gets the worst weekend. So this weekend, Holmes and I compiled the data. It became very apparent to us that there was one major issue in the data. And that was that Gary Gowdy put out one pick. As a co-host on the betting show, he put out one pick. So we disregarded all other bets, all of our losses this weekend, as it became clear only one man deserved to be the first one on the punishment wheel, and that's Mr. Gary Gowdy, Mr. GG3, our pride and joy, our social media guy, whatever you want to call him, our young and friendly, the trucker. he has to spin the wheel today. So we have a lot of different punishments. If you have punishment ideas, leave them in the comments below. They will get added to the wheel, assuming it is nothing crazy, because we cannot get arrested. So just putting that out there. Don't be stupid. Gary, do you have anything to say for yourself before we spin?
Get fucked. Spin it.
Get fucked. Okay. Good luck, Gary. We wish you well. The cinnamon challenge. Do you know what that is, Gary?
Yes, I know what it is.
Okay. For the audience, if you do not know what it is, you take a saucy spoonful of cinnamon, straight up cinnamon. You pop in your mouth and you try and swallow. It is top 10 of the hardest things to do on the planet. That's a guarantee. We will record it. It will be funny. It will be posted on Twitter, TikTok, all the socials, because as we said before, you guys like to see people suffer. So that's kind of the plan. We hope you guys like this new use of the wheel. I know we won't personally, but it's good for us. So Gary, good luck. We'll record you this weekend doing it. Just so everyone knows, all three of us will be in the same place this weekend for the Arkansas Gator game. We're gonna try and do a live podcast. We still got to figure out the details, but we're all gonna try and record together in person. So we're still figuring that out. But without further ado, let's talk about the biggest highway robbery of the weekend. And that was Francis Ngannou getting absolutely robbed by Tyson Fury. Did you guys watch that? What'd you
All
think?
bits and pieces.
Gary, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I feel like you're stupid to think that anybody besides Tyson Fury was going to win this. I mean, not even because of like the talent of the two, but because of just how boxing is, especially whenever you have these primetime events. I also thought it was super interesting, the location in which they chose to do it, Saudi Arabia. Um, I mean, I don't know. I'm a big fan of boxing. I think it's a great sport. I think there's a lot of pride behind it. But at the same time, I feel like it's coming to a point where boxing is not necessarily about like settling something between two athletes. It's more about, hey, how much can we get paid to do this?
Mm-hmm.
And I was, when I was watching the fight, they were talking about as soon as Fury got in with Saudi Arabia, they describe him as His Excellency or whatever they call him over there, their president, leader, whatever. Um, Gifted Tyson a $4 million Pagani Roadster just for fighting. And then I know Ngannou got some $150,000 watch given to him by like Cristiano Ronaldo. So for these fighters, it's not about fighting anymore. It's about how much can I get paid and what am I gonna get for showing up to this event.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like Lil Baby who comes out and performs, which I think was the most random shit ever. Um, but yeah, like I knew it. It's all in the script. Boxing, I think, especially between athletes like this, where people are coming from one sport to another, like they're never gonna let the pride and joy of the sport lose. I mean, Tyson Fury is arguably one of the best heavyweights to ever do it. And Ngannou, props to him, from coming from the UFC into this boxing arena. That dude's a monster, bro. He's
Mm-hmm.
huge. And it's kind of funny watching Tyson Fury fight because if you look at his upper half, he's kind of built like Tony Soprano. But then if you look at his lower half, he has like stick person legs, which I think is kind of funny to look at. But Ngannou, like, made him buckle. I want to say it was third round, dropped his
Yeah.
ass. And Fury didn't even come close to dropping that man. And then split decision, Fury wins by 3 points. If you're telling me that's real, you're dumb. Because it's not. And do I think Ngannou should have won? Yes, but for the good of the sport, I'm glad that Fury won.
Yeah, I'll just come right out and say it was an absolute horseshit performance by the judges. I mean, you're right, Garrett. It's no longer about who's the better boxer, who won the fight. It's about what looks best on paper, who we want to win, and it's just a lot of BS behind the scenes. And Ngannou clearly won that fight. I think anyone with eyes saw that. It was just very clearly rigged in Tyson's Fury favor. I don't hate Tyson Fury. I love him as a boxer. He just did not win that fight. Straight up, it was Ngannou. I mean, just look at the stats. He had a knockdown. Fury did not. Ngannou was clearly hitting harder. Fury was not. Like, there were good exchanges here and there, but the fact remains Ngannou was the only one with the knockdown, and that should easily put you a leg up, especially if you're transitioning from one sport to another against the heavyweight champ on the planet.
Yeah,
So it was just an absolute horseshit call by the judges. I did not like any bit of it. I also don't like the fact that the boxing like ranking website has now ranked Ngannou as the 587th best boxer on the planet. That is bullshit too. He just went toe to toe with the number one and smoked him. Just, I mean, let's call it how it is. He smoked him, and you got him ranked 587th. I feel like as a supporter of boxing and a longtime watcher, I should take over these rankings and actually rank them based on how good they are. Because this is absolute horseshit and this is an absolute disgrace to the sport of boxing. That's my stance on it. I just think it was bullshit, just not right. So, I mean, if you guys have any other takeaways, go for it. But I was pissed, man. That was just such a letdown of a decision. It should not have gone that way. And Ngannou tweeted out, the best meme ever. Let me pull it up real quick. But it was the Kevin James meme where he's shrugging the shoulders. It's like, let me find it. Where is it? Somewhere right here. He goes, "You think you can just go into boxing and beat the best heavyweight of the generation?" And he's just got the Kevin James shrug going on. 313,000 likes. I mean, just clearly the people's champ. So boxing is not the same as it used to be, and I miss the original way people boxed. That's all I got.
yeah,
Um, on to the biggest thing on the day. It's the sports equinox. All the sports are together at one. We have a couple parlays that if you take advantage of them, well, I guess you probably won't see this, but maybe we'll tweet it out real quick. So the parlay I put in earlier today, um, it wasn't anything too crazy. It was just one from each sport. So obviously, we talked about on the podcast on Friday. I was taking a Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown that still stands. That's my NFL leg of the parlay. Adolis Garcia over 0.5 run/RBIs on the night. I think that's a very safe bet. He should hit that. That was plus money for some reason, but we'll let that slide. Mavs +1. Just I don't know why the Mavs are projected to lose the Grizzlies. Not the biggest basketball knowledge guy, but I do know they have Luka, and that should be all that matters. Florida Panthers +1.5 against the Bruins. I feel like this was like the biggest bet that I made. Bruins are obviously a really good team, best regular season team of the year last year, but lost to the Florida Panthers. And I want to see the Panthers keep that up. And then earlier today, I also took Barcelona minus 0.5. Last time I checked, they were up 4-2. Not sure if they still are, but that was where we were at. So that was my parlay of the day, hoping it cashes. It was a plus money parlay. It looked pretty good. So that's where I was. Holmes, I think you have one too.
Yeah, I don't got any parlays, but I got a lot of picks for tonight for sure. First one on the diamond, I'm just taking the Diamondbacks. I think there's a pick 'em tonight, -115 both ways. I'm taking the Diamondbacks at home in this game 3. Fott has been amazing for the Diamondbacks on the mound. I think he's 4-0. He has pitched in some very big games against the Dodgers and the Phillies, so I see him coming out tonight and shutting the Rangers down. Max Scherzer has not been that good so far in the postseason, so I'm taking the Diamondbacks to win tonight. On the NFL slate, the Lions and the Raiders. I'm taking the Lions team total over 27.5. I think they can easily hit 4 touchdowns here. They struggled so bad last week against the Ravens. This is a very, very big bounce back spot for the Lions to prove that they are still a very, very good team and trying to beat up on a very subpar defense in the Raiders. I'm also going to take Jahmyr Gibbs over 27.5 receiving yards. He's going to be utilized a ton tonight, I believe, with David Montgomery out again. He's the number one guy in that backfield. The Lions, I think, are going to depend on him pretty heavily, especially if Amon-Ra is limited in any way because of his illness coming into this game. On the ice, hockey-wise, 2 games that are going on right now, actually. I have the Lightning money line at home. They're actually down 3-1 to the Kraken right now, but I'm not too worried about it. The Kraken, they are 2-4-1, I believe, so far this season. The Lightning have looked really, really nice, especially at home. And like I was talking about earlier, Jonas Johansson, I believe in him to bounce back and help the Lightning get a win here at home. I'll also take in the Bruins and Panthers game. I'm going to take under 6.5 total goals. I wasn't going to touch a side there just because, again, I know when the Panthers beat the Bruins last year in the playoffs, I know how hot the Bruins are in the regular season so far, but I think there's great goaltending in the game for both of these teams. I like the under 6.5 here to come in. Right now, it is 2-0. Florida is up in almost the end of the first period. On the NBA side, I got 3 bets on the NBA. I'm going Chet Holmgren over 13.5 points. He's gotten this in his past 2 games and has looked very nice so far, starting out the season for the Thunder. I'm also taking Scotty Barnes to score a double-double tonight. I think that's plus 265. You can get some really nice plus money value on that. Scotty Barnes has looked really nice so far this season. While he's only gotten a double-double once in these 3 games so far, he's putting up a ton of points, being a monster on the boards, and he's dishing out some nice assists as well. So I think there's a lot of potential for him to get the double-double tonight. And I'm also riding Pelicans minus 4.5 at home against the Warriors. The Warriors have won 2 straight on the road and now have to go into New Orleans. New Orleans is 2-0, and they've looked really, really good so far with Zion and BI coming together and being the nice duo that they are for the Pelicans. So I like the Pelicans to get a win here tonight at home, stay undefeated, win by 5.
Awesome. Gare? Any
Here
bet?
it comes. The 5-legger for Monday Night Football. We're going to take Jahmyr Gibbs, more than 69.5 rushing yards. This is due to the fact that Montgomery is out. And like Hart was saying, Amon-Ra is dealing with some sort of illness. I don't know what the fuck it is. Sorry, Mondo. RIP to that fantasy trade on both sides, because fuck you for giving me half the people that you gave me. Anyways, Jahmyr Gibbs, higher than 69.5 rushing yards. Next, Michael Mayer, kicker for the Raiders. We're going to take, oh, why did I just say kicker? Wow. Let me take a step back here real quick. Michael Mayer, higher than 20.5 receiving yards. He's gotten it in his last 2 games. Hopefully he gets it for a 3rd game. Daniel Carlson, here we go. Kicker for the Raiders. We're going to go higher than 5.5 kicking points. I feel like, between extra points, field goals, I feel like Raiders are going to have to rely on field goals tonight if they want to have a chance against the Lions. Higher than 5.5 points. Josh Reynolds, higher than 2.5 receptions. He's gotten this in his past 3 or 4 weeks, I want to say. So we're going to take that. And then Josh Jacobs, lower than 63.5 rushing yards. And that is the 5-legger that we're going to go with tonight. And this is great value for you. It's big bang for your buck. You put $10 on this, you're winning 200. So, you take it or you don't. So let's see what happens.
Wow.
Very nice. Gary, get on tweeting that. I'll outro us real quick. But yeah, like I said before, we're planning on doing an in-person podcast. We got to work out the details. If you do know an easy way to do that, please either DM us, leave us a comment. Kind of need help with it. We haven't really done an in-person one before. It'll probably be at Gary's house. But yeah. But without further ado, thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, share with absolutely everyone you know. It would mean the world to us. We are on the come up. We just got to 50 followers on Twitter. the shout out to the social media guy, Gare. He will be posting clips soon. He's been working on that. He's been grinding. Proud of him. So expect some Twitter clips, TikTok clips. What else, Gare? Are we doing IG Reels?
I
No
mean,
IG Reels yet. So just Twitter and TikTok clips. But yeah, we'll see you guys Thursday.
Wednesday? Thursday.
Thursday, I think. We record Wednesday, see Thursday. So we will see you guys on the next episode. Peace.